Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very, very special edition of the Daily Standup Podcast. I am here today with my dear friend, Bob Hartman, and we have a very, very special occasion that we are about to celebrate. I made a promise back in July timeframe that we were going to bring Bob back for this special occasion. Bob, I'll let you tell everyone what the special occasion is.
This special occasion is episode 1000. Can you believe he's been doing this that long? It's nuts. I can't believe anybody would do that many, but leave it to Agile Dad Lee to do something amazing because he's always amazing. So congrats, my friend. Episode 1000. I'm honored to be back.
And I'm honored to have you. And it's so amazing to have good friends and to have good Agile. And I thought that this would be a good time for us, since we've been around a community for some time. I thought it'd be a good opportunity for us to reflect on maybe some of the things that we appreciate about the community and some of the things that we're grateful for. And I'll kick it off. I'll kick it off with one thing that I'm grateful for. So I am grateful for all the people in the community who helped me make this possible. I couldn't have done it without the likes of, I was originally trained by Ken Schwaber, right? And as much as we all have disdain for some things that Ken has done, Ken is still the guy who started the ball moving for me. And this was back in, I'm scared to say it, 2003 timeframe. So that just makes me really old. I remember going to Dirt's first birthday party. That means I'm older than Dirt, right? But it was just one of those things where I was just like, but he kicked it off for me, and he got this ball rolling for me, and it was just something I'm so grateful for. And since then, I've had the time and energy to really meet some really cool people along the way. I was an early certified Scrum trainer, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to certify over 15,000 people through Scrum Alliance certifications, and to work with, teach, educate, and coach probably close to 30 to 40,000 people. It's mind-blowing to think about how many people it is. I mean, it's the thought that came to my mind was, how many people is that? I was trying to put that in perspective, right? So I'm like, what size arena is 30 to 40,000? Do you have any idea, Bob? Where would 30 to 40,000 people fit? I mean, that's a decent size rock concert.
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be like a basketball or hockey arena, so it'd have to be a football stadium. So maybe an average size college stadium. It wouldn't be like, the big house or anything like that.
No.
But 30, 40,000 seat stadium is out there. Lots of college teams would have those size stadiums, and that's big.
That's crazy. I mean, just it makes my head just hurt thinking about that, right? And my hope is that each of those individuals had an experience. And that's one of the things that I learned from you when back in the day, when we were doing humanizing work, and we were talking about, I went out to Colorado and I met you and the team, and we were talking about different things. And one of the big takeaways that I took from you was that none of this means anything in the end if you can't make it personal. And I hope that I've had an opportunity to touch the lives of people, whether it's through speaking at a conference, whether it's through, teaching a class or coaching or training. I just had lots of opportunities. But Bob, I wanted to know your thoughts. What are some of the things that you feel like you're grateful for? I mean, we've both been through this mix for a long time. What are some of the things here in the Agile community that you recognize that you're just like, wow, this is something that really stands out?
I'm going to start by talking about what you just spoke about, which is the number. You've got 30 to 40,000. I've got 25 to 35,000. Together, we fill the Denver Broncos stadium. And I've been there for a lot of football games, and those people are crazy. But I've also been there for a life-changing event. So I know spiritually you and I are aligned. Mm-hmm. I was there when Bill McCartney spoke for the Promise Keepers a long time ago. And he was trying to change 70,000 people's lives. And I think when you look back on it, if we filled that stadium with the people who've been to our classes, we've attempted to do the same thing, which is something until literally 5 minutes ago I never thought about, but it's mind-boggling. It's craziness. So I'm grateful for that, because you and I have both been doing this for the right reason, which is it's about leaving the world better than when we started. And to me, that's really important. And then personally for me, I'm grateful to you for a few things that I don't know that I ever told you. But we both spoke at the first Mile High Agile conference.
Mhm.
And I don't remember whether I was the number one rated speaker or you were number one, but we went 1-2 for a number of years in a row. And that made me better because I always thought, Lee is a friend. It's a friendly competition. And you and I spoke about it numerous times. It was fun to try to do better every year. And that made me better at what I do. And I think that helped me impact more lives in a better way. So I'm grateful for that. Like you, I was trained by Ken Schwaber. Mine was at the Minneapolis Scrum Gathering in 2006. There were a whopping 50 people.
Wow.
Um, and I don't know that I can say Ken made it so that I learned from the best, but I certainly learned from the originator and got exposed to ideas that were perhaps different than what I would have anticipated doing. And it opened my eyes up to a few things. So I'm grateful for that experience.
Mhm.
And I'm just grateful for all the times you and I and other certified Scrum trainers have been able to get together and interact and expand our knowledge of each other, of the world, and challenge ourselves to make better the way that we teach. I remember the first time I met Sharon Bowman,
Mhm.
training from the back of the room. And she has mentored me a lot over the last 20 years, 15 years. And I just, I'm astounded that her ideas in a book have become the standard for how most of us do our work. So those are some of the things I'm grateful for. There's lots more, but I'll throw it back to you for your next round.
It's fun because you brought up something that we haven't really talked about, and it was the Mile High Agile, and that had a huge impact because my wife always jokes with me. She says, humility's not my jam. She says if, and she says it in jest, of course, but she says if there was ever a humility contest, you would win every time because that's just how you're wired. And I'm like, it's not like I'm trying. It's just I always want to put my best self out there, and sometimes, for better or for worse, it becomes a challenge, and I like for it to be, like you said, a friendly challenge, a friendly competition, and I don't mind having someone help me elevate my game. And I've learned so much from different individuals in the community who have really taught me about the difference between educating with the intent to help them understand something topically, and educating with the intent to help them understand something topically, but be able to apply it in a more metaphysical, spiritual, engaging, this is who I am, that embodiment of what they learn, taking what they learned in that application piece. There seems to be, and once again, this isn't a dart thrown at every Scrum trainer, but there seem to be a large contingency of trainers that are out there, both in the Scrum community and the Agile community at large, that are real good at teaching you the content that's in the book. But when it comes to the application, there are probably only a handful, I'd say less than 10, that I really would trust sending, a student to. If a student came to me and said, hey, I can't make these dates, is there any other trainer you would trust that you would send me to? I mean, I could probably count on three fingers the trainers that I would say, hey, these are the three that you can choose from. Take your pick. And you're definitely one of those three. But it's one of those things where it's amazing to me to think that we've come so far, but yet we haven't come. Does that make sense? We've come so far as a community, but yet we have so far left to go. And I think that kind of warms up to my next question. For many years, we talked about opportunities to work together, and I want to highlight. I love to retrospect, so I want to highlight something that we both did. So I'm going to answer first what happened with my return and report, and then I'm going to ask you to do the same. So the last time we spoke at the Agile conference on the podcast, we challenged each other to get a handful of unemployed people or underemployed people into our sessions. So I extended up to 50 offerings for regular and 50 offerings for advanced. So it was a total of 100 offerings if anyone needed those for scholarship to be able to come to the classes. I'm happy to report that we had 25 people come for the level 1 training, and we had about 10 come for the level 2 training. But we did have something interesting happen. We had an opportunity to gather and to network with two groups, one specifically in Utah called Tech Moms. And it's more of a women in technology group helping mothers who maybe left the workforce to start a family, or maybe they were trying to get into the workforce, but they just don't have the experience, or they have gaps in their resume. And we extended an offer to them to come to class for a very low cost, for basically the cost of the course, which was $89. So they were able to come for $89 and come to the course. And it was just, it was a losing money thing, but it was one of those things where it really did. And I got to see firsthand the impact that this had on these women. And I would argue that those were even as powerful, if not more powerful, than the people who came for free. The people who came for free were appreciative, don't get me wrong. But I almost think that the people who had a little bit of skin in the game took more away from it than the people who came for free, which was really, really interesting. But we've seen a lot of these women and a lot of these people that we offered these offerings to come back with, letters of gratitude, with other things that are going on. And I just really feel like, when we're talking about elevating each other, and you were talking about the 1-2 scenario, when you threw down that challenge, I was like, I've got to do this, and I've got to try to do better than he did. so it sounds silly, but I went out of my way to make sure everyone knew that we were offering those. And but we've had, and it's been a tradition for Agile. We do it every year for the military. This last year, we offered 6 free courses. We got through 150 military members for free, and that's across SAFE courses, Scrum Alliance courses, and stable courses. We offered so the Tech Moms discount that we told you about. We offered that package. We offer packages for STEM for anyone who's in high school or a freshman in college who wants to take on this class as part of their STEM package to help them understand, what project management's like in the technology world. We offer and extend that to those people. We do law enforcement, first responders. So we have a ton of different offerings that we have for people. But it was just really touching to see the response that we got, specifically to the episode that we did together, and specifically to those people who are looking. And I want to make sure I express how grateful I am that, I have a friend like you to challenge me and to give me that kind of enthusiasm, because those are the types of things that I really do feel have a great impact. So I'm curious, did you have a similar response with your offering?
So you get positions 1 through 10 this time, because while I did the challenge, but I only extended it to the local Denver community where I live. I extended it through the Agile Denver, and I gave an opportunity for anybody who was between jobs or looking to get in for free. And I had 8 individuals take me up on it. I think I only did about half a dozen classes, so that wasn't too bad.
That's good.
But the good thing is the feedback from it was tremendous. All of them really felt like they got knowledge that they didn't previously have, which was great. But they also felt like they learned that the Agile community is accepting, and they went to Agile Denver meetups and met people. And I think of the 8, 6 of them now have jobs.
Oh,
So that to me is the proof in the pudding, right? Did you get a job after this? So I don't know that you can say the same. I don't know that you track that. I just happen to know because they're in the Agile Denver community with me, and they send me the email afterwards. But I think our challenge was definitely worthwhile because, as we both said at the time, I think we closed the podcast last time, and I said to you, if we change one life, we're doing good. So we changed way more than one.
I was about to say it's way more than one. And the only people that reported back for me were the people who were from Tech Moms, and they reported back because I had my only commitment to them was that if I do this for you, that you need to let me know as soon as you get your first placement. And
yeah, actually, there's one other thing that happened. So I told them when they came into the class, I said, this is free for you, but I'm a pay it forward kind of guy. So in the future, if you can help someone, please help them. And one of the stories that I got back was one of the people who now has a job paid for one of their colleagues to get my CSM training.
oh wow, there you go.
So yeah,
you see, that's where it is. And I think that that's the piece, I dare I say this, I think that's the piece that's still missing from the Agile community as a whole. I mean, I've done Agile Day Gives Back for years, but there's so many people who don't, as a whole, understand the whole concept of, I don't want to say charitable giving, but it's almost like they have empathy, but they have empathy with bias. And I know that sounds weird, but it was a topic I was talking about this morning. It's one of these things where I care about people, but only the people that I want to care about. Because, I'm like that doesn't make sense, right? And I think that we both had opportunities to really impact, the Agile community in a positive way. But another thing that just struck me was, I'm grateful for the family and extended family. Of course, I'm grateful for my family personally. I mean, my family's amazing, but I'm also grateful for the extended family that I've reached out to. Even sometimes, even though sometimes our brothers in arms can be a little bit of a train wreck if you look at some of the conversations that have happened, uh, especially some of the recent ones. No,
Yeah.
but what we find is that there's still some camaraderie. Everybody still wants to help each other, and I think people are inherently good for the most part. Um, but I found that there's still opportunity, and my hope is going forward that we can have a heartfelt discussion about what that opportunity looks like. Because for a number of years, we've been tossing around some ideas. And I'm going to let you share some exciting news about what we're thinking about, what's in the works, what we're brewing. And I'm going to let you spring that on people instead of me. Let's see where it goes.
All right, so let's backtrack a month or so, and Lee is asking me some information about this particular podcast, and he says, "I want there to be something big. I just don't know what it is. Make it big." And we tossed around a few ideas and jokingly, but where we've landed, and I'm going to be a little bit generic, as I mentioned
Oh
earlier,
yeah,
Lee,
you're
is
good.
we're looking at some ways that we can seriously interact together to make an even bigger difference in the world because I think both of us believe that we have, I mean, you have a strong business, I have a strong business, but one plus one doesn't make two. And how do we work together to make like one plus one equals five or six?
Right.
Because I think that factor of multiplication is probably possible if we put our heads together. So I guess however many episodes ago, I said let's challenge ourselves to do some classes for free for the people who need it. I guess this time I'm challenging ourselves to figure out how we work together in a meaningful way to make 2024 and 2025 and beyond even better for people because we have complementary personalities, complementary skills, and we should be able to figure out something that we can do that could be pretty dramatic. So that's the biggest news we can say. There may be some bigger news than that coming up in the future as we decide
Absolutely.
what these things are, but um,
I like where it's
it's
going.
exciting for us.
It's so exciting, and I love where it's going. For a number of years, I've said, quote, and my wife, I'm going to pick on my wife here for a minute. She's not here. She's down in Argentina, so I can do this. So so she said for a number of years, she says, she says, I know you'll never work for somebody again. She goes, but I really wish that you would find someone that you could really count on and rely on and trust that you could work with again. And it was just one of those things where, she wasn't saying that I'm not trustworthy. She wasn't saying that, what she was trying to say is that I'm very picky. I'm picky about who I associate with. I'm picky about who I build connections with. And as a result, I have many, many acquaintances, but only a handful of friends. And it's one of those things where, in order for me to trust someone, I'm one of those people who give all of my trust freely, but then oftentimes I got taken advantage of as a result of that. But it's one of those times here where I feel like I can just be completely open and honest and not have to worry. And it's a great thing because very few friendships are like that. So I guess with the third topic or third thing that I'm grateful for our friendship because I feel like there's not a lot of this type of friendship that happens both in the agile community and outside of the agile community. It's rare to meet someone who aligns with you on spiritual values, on giving back, on how a community should work, on and still someone that aligns with you on the content and the subject matter even. Someone who's not trying to push their own personal agenda, but someone who's trying to build an agenda together. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that. And while we're still being generic, I'm excited to see what the future holds because I think we're going to have lots of opportunities. And I was even going to openly talk to you, and I haven't done this yet, about Mile High Agile. I know they're coming back, right? Aren't they coming back this year?
Yeah, May 15th. May 15th.
Wow. Are you going to be a part of that this year? Do you have everything lined up or?
I have a conflict right now that I have to try to work around. And if I can do that, then I still have a few days where I can fly to be a speaker. But I'm just not sure right now because they sprung it on me like a month ago and I already made a commitment. So I have to try to figure out how to get around it.
The reason I'm asking is because I was trying to decide whether I wanted to apply to be a speaker or not. So it's one of those things where,
Well, if you're out here, my commitment is only on that day. So if you come out here, we can spend some time together. I can arrange that.
well, there you go. No, it's just I thought it'd be fun because I was just, and it's so funny because I got the email from Mile High Agile in my box, and I literally had my calendar pulled up and I was scheduling May classes, and it was like, I'm like, whoa, I'm like, I want to go visit Bob. I'm like, do I schedule classes? Or I said, I'm not scheduling classes. So I literally, oh, excuse me, I left my entire May open just so that we could have this conversation. So
Yeah, I have. I'm going to be my first question I have to answer is, can I get back from Atlanta on the 14th, which I think I can, and then can I cancel what I have on the 15th? But if you come out for the 15th and stay for the 16th or so, we can have a fun time together because I'm
oh,
definitely home the rest of that week.
let's figure it out. Let's make that happen because I want to make sure we kick this off right and we do things right. So I guess the last thing I want to close with closing thought here is just I'm grateful for the platform to be able to do 1,000 episodes. I said in the beginning, if you would have told me 900 episodes ago that I would be on recording episode 1,000, I would have said, you're crazy. There's no way I will do this for that long. I mean, every single day, Monday through Friday, for 1,000 episodes. I mean, that's a long time.
It's a lot. That's a lot. That's
four
like
years.
almost 5 years worth,
Yeah, I was
right?
about to say it's over 4 years. Yeah, it's over
Yeah.
4 years, and
Well,
it.
and I think part of what you have to look at though is, I mean, look at the shirt you're wearing, right? I mean, your company has been successful and you've been successful, and it's because you've been impacting people. And it's funny, I wore this shirt, no good reason today, but you're talking about gratitude. This is a quote shirt from the old course at St. Andrews.
Okay.
And I'm a golfer, and I've been able to play that course 3 times because I've been fortunate enough to be in an industry that allows me the flexibility to travel, but also it's nice to be able to meet people around the world and go to Scotland and meet people and go to Germany and meet people and learn about different cultures and things that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do otherwise. I've been on the Scrum Alliance board, the Agile Alliance board, traveled around the world and met tens of thousands of people at conferences and things, and that exposure to all of that has made me a better overall person.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm grateful for all of that almost more than anything else because I wouldn't be who I am today if I hadn't gotten into this profession.
I agree. Once again, if somebody would have told me in 2005 that in 2024, 2025 that you would be doing this, I'd be like, not you're dreaming. I'd be like, there's no way, right? But here we are. And I'm so grateful for the platform. I'm grateful for the podcast. I'm grateful for the opportunities that it presents. I'm grateful for the Agile community. But I think most of all, I'm grateful that I could build a company that I really do believe is the heart and soul of the good part of Agile, right? That helps people embrace the good part and helps people really get centered. And if I could leave with just one closing message, at the end of every one of my episodes, I say, stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. And when I say healthy, I don't just mean physical health. I mean, physical health is important, don't get me wrong, but I mean mental health. I want people to have the capacity to know that someone out here in the agile community cares. And even if you just hear that and it sounds like I'm saying it in passing, I really do mean it when I say it. I want people to have that joy. I want people, and you used that word earlier. You're like, no joy, I can't connect, right? But it's one of those things where I want people to have that joy. I want people to have that little nugget of smile in their day. And when I say stay well, it's a wish for them to continue to have good fortune. There's nothing more than I want them for the windows of whatever their creator has for them to be poured out upon them so that they can, so that they can have blessings beyond greatest measure, so that they can be somebody and so that they can do something with their life, that they can help uplift those people closest to them, whether it's a partner, a boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, significant other, family, child, whoever it is, pets. I don't care who it is. I want them to have the means to be able to support and uplift those people around them. And when I tell people to take care, it's because I want them to know that this isn't the end of the conversation. It's until next time. And I think that when I break that down, and I just recently took the time to do this the other day, it made me a little cry. It made me a little weepy, a little teary. It made me cry a little bit because I've had it so good for so many years and I've had so many amazing things happen. And I hope that I hope I have another 1,000 episodes in me, and I hope that I can impact 10,000, 20,000. I hope we can fill another stadium, Bob. Between the two of us, I hope that we have that opportunity. And most importantly, I hope that we have many, many more platforms and stages left to speak on, and that we have an opportunity to do that together. Because I think one of the most exciting things in the world to me would be to have a platform with you where we could both just present the brighter side of what the agile community is, and let people see that people matter, that we're humans and we all matter, and that if we can prove that every individual has great worth, and we can stop talking about individuals and start talking about intertwining the fabric of our stories and creating that tapestry, that life, and just let people take off the blinders and see what the world really is, and stop judging people based on who they are, the color of their skin, who they worship, who they vote for. None of that matters. At the end of the day, in 100 years from now, none of us are going to be here. And every single thing that we own, every possession that we have, will belong to someone else. Or it'll be sold, or it'll be thrown away and discarded. We'll be a picture on a wall somewhere, right? In the Agile Hall of Fame.
Ooh, there you go.
I don't even know if that exists, but if it doesn't, we should create it, right? We'll be the founding fathers of the Agile Hall of Fame. A place where people can go visit, a museum. I don't know. Maybe we'll put the museum in Snowbird or something. But
There you go.
but it's just one of these things where I think about it all the time. I'm like, if somebody came back and listened to one of these episodes in 200 years from now, and they got 3 words of value out of it, then I've done my job. And
Well, my friend, I have to say that over the years, you have made me laugh so hard that I cried. And what you just said impacted me so hard. I'm trying hard not to cry because you are one of the most passionate individuals I know, and you can present things in a way that makes an amusing story be a life-changing event. And to see you be very serious about this it hits me hard because we're both pretty jovial people, and we tell a lot of stories and we make a lot of jokes. But at the end of the day, this is serious business and people have lives. And I tell people all the time, my goal in life is that there's a world in the future where people enjoy going to work. They're treated fairly, they're compensated fairly, they're working in a way that's compatible with humanity, and they're making a difference in other people's lives through the work that they do. And we're obviously not there yet, but we're 70,000 people closer.
There we go. And I'm going to steal the last remark from my daughter. So my daughter is 15 years old. Her name's Kate. And she made a comment to me before she left with my wife. So my wife and daughter went to go backpacking together. And before she left, she's like, Dad, she's like, sometimes I hate people. I'm like, what do you mean you hate people? She says, people are just so mean. She goes, you turn on the news, you turn on anything. She goes, you don't even have to. She says, you just go on the internet and I'm looking for something, fun for me, a dance or whatever on YouTube. She says, and you can't help but see all this negativity and all these things around. She says, could you imagine, and this is the quote I want to leave you with. She says, could you imagine what the world would be like if each person, so think about the 70,000 you just mentioned. Could you think of how much different the world would be if each person that you came in contact with and touched did one single act of kindness each day for someone that they didn't know? She said it wouldn't take long for the whole world to be a different place. That's wisdom from a 15-year-old girl. And I'll tell you what, it definitely came from my wife, because the apple doesn't fall far.
15 going on 40.
Yeah, but she spelled that out for me. And I was just like, wow, and it made me sit and think a lot deeper. And I'm just like, I'm so grateful that I've been blessed with, supportive family, with people who understand, with people who get what I'm trying to do. And I hope, like I said, that we have the power to influence tens of thousands of more people. And I when you drew that picture in my mind of the spiritual event you went to, I had a different picture that appeared in my mind, Bob, and I hope that you can see this picture with me. I pictured that stadium, but instead of having just one person on a stage, there were 2 people on a stage, and that stadium was full of people who wanted to hear a message that we had to say. And I hope that we have that opportunity. I hope that we have that opportunity to change lives, to touch people in a way beyond agile, in a way agile and beyond, right? Too agile and beyond, right? It's just, there's the tagline. No, but
there's the jokester.
But I just want to make sure that we have an opportunity to touch as many people as we can. And I'm confident that we will. Bob, it has been nothing less than a pleasure. I wanted it to be explosive. And I think that this was explosive in a way that I didn't imagine. It was explosive in a very touching, spiritual way. And I wouldn't have wanted to share this episode with anyone but you. I am grateful for your friendship. I'm grateful for you as a human being. And I'm grateful for all that you do for me and for the Agile community and Uplift, all those around you. Agile for All is an amazing company, and it's been founded by one of the best trainers in the world, but more importantly, one of the best people in the world, someone who really knows how to identify and touch humans. And that's what life is all about. Bob, I'm grateful you could be here.
Thank you, my friend.
And as always, I encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until episode 1001, do take care. Bye now.